Currently in a rain delay in Paris, tennis players like artists each have their own style. And while the Louvre houses some of the world's most famous paintings, the clay courts of Roland-Garros are the canvas for the world's best tennis players. Andres Bella captures the best of both, as Brett Haber explains in this tennis story presented by Tennis Express.
Falling in love with tennis came naturally at an early age for Andres Bella of Walnut Creek, California. And while he always enjoys every moment he spends on court, it's at home in his garage that Andres truly is in his element, combining two of his greatest passions in life.
My name's Andres Bella, and I'm an artist who uses tennis materials as his primary medium. Yeah, so my garage is my studio. It's a nice working space. Get up out of bed and have a cup of coffee and come out here and work. I'm not the artist who just has oil paints or things like that. Well, I actually need to move around, and as you know, tennis materials can become bulky, and the more you get, the more space you need. Having that here is nice, and the space to work and be as messy as I want makes it comfortable. So the idea came to me when I had a bunch of rackets. I always wanted to create a portrait on a racket. Like the stencils, you see the logo of like Wilson or Babolat. I said, well, that'd be cool to do something like that. And then I wanted to add more depth to it. So that kind of spurred the idea of the strings on top of the rackets rather than just doing a stencil, which is simple. I'll draw it first, and then I'll kind of use it as a backdrop. And then as I'm working through it, it's simply taking a piece of tennis string and bending it and cutting it and shaping it. I use clippers, an X-Acto knife, and just crazy glue. That's really it. I generally acquire the materials through clubs, friends, sports shops. I love using the recycled material. I think just being able to take that and repurpose it into art, I think it's important. A lot of artists have their acrylics and oil paints. The tennis rackets and the strings, those are my oil paints. I think the most challenging part is just, it's tough for it to be a finished piece. I always look at it and see something that I might want to change. The creative process, I can't halt it or I can't force it. So it's one of those things that has to come naturally. Tennis Channel reached out to me to do a piece in conjunction with Roland-Garros, and I thought this would be really cool. I really wanted to incorporate the look of the clay and the colors of Roland-Garros, which is a little bit of the green, but a lot of the orange. At first, when I was creating that piece, I wanted it to be neat. I wanted it to be like nice orange and nice green, clean lines. And then I'm like, wait a minute, this is Roland-Garros. There's nothing neat about clay. I'm like, this has to look like clay. I loved working on it. It was definitely a unique piece, and I'm glad to have been able to do it. Tennis has always been part of me. Is it my canvas? No, I think life is my canvas. I think tennis is just the material that I use to kind of bring out what my feelings are, or influences, or what inspires me.
Andres Bella, that's pretty cool stuff, John.
Very cool stuff. This is like Picasso mixed media. You've got wood, you've got graphite, you've got felt. It's great. He's an artist and a conservationist. He should come to these tournaments and see what gets disposed. The stringers alone throw out a lot of art supplies. So I enjoyed that. That was a great piece. Enjoyed that.
Love art in general, and when you come to Paris, you got to check out the museums. This city is about that. It's so historical, and there's so many wonderful works of art here. And what we see behind us, John, I know you can appreciate this with Roger and Rafa, the artistry on the court.
You hear him say, though, you cannot force the creative process. That's the difference between art and the artistry that we see behind us here. Sometimes the player on the other side of the net forces your process. It's a little different than going to your studio. But no, that was a tremendous feature. I'm glad we ran that.
All right, well, they are saying no play before 9:15 a.m. Eastern, so we'll keep you updated on that. We're in the third set right now. Dominic team up a break. Tied at a set apiece against Novak Djokovic. You can hear the wind rushing through Philippe Chatrier right now. We'll be right back.